Hi, I'm Kayla August, doctoral student here at Boston College in the School of Theology and Ministry. I'll be getting my doctorate in theology and education with a focus in preaching. And today I'm excited to talk to you about my favorite preacher, Thea Bowman. Thea Bowman was known for many things. She was a preacher, a prayer, a writer, a singer, a theologian, and a thespian, a teacher and a teller of stories, a sister and a living saint, a woman of God and a woman for God, a voice that could not be forgotten, a voice that inspired many others. In fact, some might say she was prophetic. The term prophet is a word that comes from the classical Greek, meaning to speak, say. Prophets were said to be messengers, seers, one who carries the message of God and mediates God's message to the people. One who is able to see things in ways others cannot and speak in ways that others are afraid to. A person called to interpret the events of their time in ways that are bold. A seer of the future who acts in the present. We know the prophetic voices of old. Moses stood up to the Pharaoh saying, "Let my people go." Ezekiel told times of not only destruction, but also those of restoration to come. And John the Baptist was a voice crying out from the desert, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord." Each held a message crucial to the people of their day, a message that united people toward a better future. But where are the prophets of today? Who today is the voice crying out for those in need? Who has messages to share, truths to reveal, and the courage today to move us into tomorrow? I think the answer is simple. I think the answer is in the students right here on this campus. I give this talk from the chapel at the School of Theology and Ministry. This school is a place I spend my days in class and my nights in the books. A place where I study and dialogue and learn and live for the future of the church with prophetic voices still to come. When I think of the prophetic voices of our time, I find the most compelling ones to be closest to home. Ones like the students I learn beside and serve as a resident minister on this campus. These young voices see in prophetic ways that mirror the sacred scripture. For one example, the prophet Jeremiah. I see in them the voice of prophets like Jeremiah, a young and unsuspecting prophetic voice. The great prophet Jeremiah was once just a boy, a young boy who heard the voice of God in an undeniable way. It is said that in the 13th year of Josiah, in the small town of Anatoth, the young Jeremiah heard the voice of God calling him unexpectedly. The voice of the Almighty spoke, saying, "Jeremiah, even before I created you, I knew you. I set you apart. I made you to be a prophet to the nations, and it's now the time to live that call." Jeremiah, being so young, was afraid. How could this be? For surely God must have made a mistake. There must be someone older, someone wiser, someone more prepared to do this great work. How could God have chosen someone so young to do his mighty deeds? So Jeremiah spoke to God in fear, saying, "God, this cannot be so. I don't even know how to speak. I am too young." But God replied, "Say not I am too young. To whomever I send you, you shall go. Wherever I command you, you shall speak. Have no fear before them." The prophet Jeremiah says that the Lord touched his mouth and gave him words to speak, words that had the power to make roots and to tear them down, to build or to plant a new and unknown future. Words with the power to change life as they now knew it. The prophecy was a gift and a challenge, and Jeremiah foresaw the future of Israel. With fear, but with trust in God, who would not leave him, he began his prophetic ministry. For those that, though others might doubt him, he believed in the God who believed in him, the God who said he was not too young to be a prophet to the nations. He was a prophetic voice just like that of Sister Thea. And there was a time long before Sister Thea's Kitchen Talks at BC, before Thea commanded a room of bishops, before Thea was up for canonization in the Catholic Church, before she changed the world with song and joy. She was just, at one time, a little girl from Canton, Mississippi, born in 1937, in times laden with racial tension. Bertha Elizabeth Bowman was born the granddaughter of a former slave, the daughter of a doctor and a teacher, and it was instilled in her that education was the way to truly be free. Mississippi was laden with racial discrimination. Even after slavery ended, blacks were restricted by law, denied equal opportunity, the right to vote, and the right to equal education. Due to the harmful effects of segregation, she found herself in a disadvantaged, under-resourced school in Canton. But her parents took a leap of faith and enrolled her in a newly opened local Catholic school started by the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. And at the age of 9, the faithful witness of the sisters inspired Thea to become Catholic. But she didn't stop there. She wanted to become a Franciscan Sister of Perpetual Adoration. So at the age of 15, she packed her bags and moved far from everything she had ever known to head across the country to the Midwest to follow God's call, where as a novice, she was given the name that we know her by, Thea, which means of God. In the convent, though she loved her sisters, she struggled. The convent was a place where her faith and her culture did not always coincide. From the way they prayed and sang, to the food they ate, to the way they spoke, Thea felt she had to adjust her black self for these white spaces. Set apart by her race and her cultural expressions, she found ways to make a home with the sisters. It wasn't until she began to teach that her cultural presence came to life in a new way. Through African-American song and spirituality, she fused her faith with her culture in ways that showed she did not have to choose between her black self and her Catholic self. She went on to get her doctorate and increased her knowledge in black music, black poetry and literature, black history, and black oral tradition. She addressed racial issues through a ministerial lens, and she found a way to mix the beauty of her Franciscan charism with the pride of her black culture, and became a popular public speaker, if I so add. She was even invited to preach to the US bishops, saying, "Tell all the bishops that I bring myself, my whole self, my black self, as a gift to the church." She was known for having a song in her heart and a smile on her face, and she spoke bold truths in seemingly intimidating spaces. She did not stop speaking them until after being diagnosed with cancer in 1984. And honestly, even still burdened by cancer, she spoke all she could until she went to heaven at the age of 52. I believe both her and Jeremiah were anointed for their call. They were both said to be holy people, and they were. Holy, holy, holy are those God sends. The word holy in Hebrew means to be set apart. To be set apart is not a simple declaration. In fact, Jeremiah was named holy by God, a holy messenger meant to bring God's truth into the world, set apart to do great things. In this way, perhaps Thea was set apart too, a holy messenger of today's church. Thea was truly set apart, I know that. Holy in ways that echoed in the ears of the US bishops and reverberated through the church. Ways that showed that her culture and her faith could be one. Though her life had moments of struggle, it prepared her to become one of the holiest prophetic voices of our day. So what are you being prepared for? Because Thea reminds us that the ways we are set apart may be ways we don't choose. Maybe your voice feels too small or the challenges seem too big. Maybe you don't feel you look the part. Perhaps you don't feel strong enough or smart enough or pretty enough to be that chosen voice. Maybe you were born in a way that society doesn't always uphold, and you feel discriminated against because of your gender, your sexual orientation, your age, your race, your income, your mental or physical abilities. The list goes on. No matter what your list includes, it brings unwanted struggles and unforeseen obstacles. Ways that cause us to ask why our yoke is so heavy while others seem so light. Ways that make us question if a truly loving God would place this weight upon us. But our unique stories may be exactly why God has chosen us to do what others can't do. For perhaps this weight is also a prophetic tool, allowing us to see in ways others cannot, able to notice the shards of a broken system in need of fixing, to hear the silent cries of those who often get overlooked, and to stand with the hurting because we truly know their pain, to give the love we ultimately seek, and to say the words etched onto our hearts so that the weight of the world can finally be lifted for another. What does it mean that you were uniquely set apart to bear a holy message that only you alone can bear? Though it may be easy to blend into the crowd, some of us were born to stand out. For each person is marked by the nature of their baptism to be a prophet of today, a call to holiness that we, like Jeremiah, cannot shake. Because God didn't simply reveal his message to the prophets of old. God continues to reveal God's message today. An ongoing revelation that is simply waiting for a messenger brave enough to make it known. And maybe you, like Jeremiah, doubt your ability to hold the transformative messages of God. You may say, "Who am I to be prophetic?" But God replies, "Before you were even born, I knew you. I made you a prophet to the nations. Wherever I send you, you shall go. Have no fear before them." A God who has spoken through the prophets of the past is calling you in the present. You may not feel that you can be a major prophet like Jeremiah, but there were minor prophets too. So perhaps God is in fact calling you. God was with them, both major and minor alike, as they did their mighty deeds. And today, God is still asking, "Whom shall I send?" Perhaps it's you. Blessed are you, holy are you, and ready are you to bring the message that could change the world as we now know it. As you sit with that message, I close with the prayer of Sister Thea, a woman who knew that in each of us God is working in ways that were very special, ways that were individualized and that we can make come alive in ourselves and in the world. Each of us is set apart to bring the beauty of God's message today, and God is waiting on our yes to change the world. For the wise words of Thea said, "There is a song that will never be sung unless you sing it. There's a story that will never be told unless you tell it. There is a joy that will never be shared unless you bear it. Go tell the world, go preach the gospel. Go teach the good news. For God is, and God is love. And God is with us and working in all of our lives."